So I love the gong. The gong is a call to spirit. It's a beautiful sound. It resonates beautifully. You can almost feel it inside of you. I'm Reverend Greg Dorst, and welcome to Unity of Pasadena. I like that call to spirit because it reminds us that spirit is in, around, and through everything all the time, whether we recognize it or not. But the call, too, is about consciously aligning yourself with spirit, about consciously being aligned with the presence of God. And so one of the ways we do that is to make the call and to engage in prayer. So I'd please join me in consciousness. So God is present right here, right now, in this very space. The presence of God often operates as love. And so we feel that love right now, recognizing and knowing that we're aligning with the presence of God as we do it. And so that presence gives us sustenance. That presence operates through us and motivates us and moves us and allows us to do the things that we must do, to live the life that we must live. There are people here in this very space who do exactly that every single Sunday. They open the doors, they volunteer their time, they operate the sound, and they do the platform, and they do the prayer work. And you'll recognize them as they start to move through the things that they do, and we honor them right now. They bring blessings to this church. They bring blessings to our lives, and we thank you so much for that. We're thankful for each and every person who's walked in here today to align themselves with Spirit, to hear the truth, to recognize and know the beauty of the ritual of church, to recognize and know the beauty of the ritual of song and discussion around things that truly matter. I'm so grateful for all of this. I'm so grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for this opportunity, this place, this space, and this beautiful alignment with Spirit. I release these words knowing that they're already done, knowing that this experience is engaged and moving forward in a grand and glorious way. Please join me now by saying, and so it is. Amen.
We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are whole. Spirit divine, come to me, feeling love, healing me. Open my heart, allow me to see beauty and love that lives in me. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole.
Howdy, all y'all. I'm Norma Lopez-Reed, your platform person for today. Let's give a wonderful welcome to Levi Hammock on piano, and to Felice Hernandez Schaefer, who's our soloist today. And by the way, Reverend Greg Dorst and his wife Jackie are also here. And let's face it, our Sunday celebration is not complete without each and every one of you being here in the sanctuary and those watching on Facebook and YouTube. Welcome. We thank everyone for your grace-filled willingness to again wear a well-fitted mask throughout the entire service, unless you are on the microphone. You probably wondered why this city girl is looking like a cowgirl today and giving you a southern welcome. Well, that's because I just returned from a trip to Tennessee. It was wonderful. Really enjoyed Nashville, visited the Grand Ole Opry. Can you see this? Yeah. And, of course, went to Memphis. Alva says hi. And we also had a chance to visit Unity of Nashville, which was really a treat. Now, I remember when I was a school principal, I used to have my teachers visit even one another, because whenever we see other people, we learn some things, right? And we also learn to appreciate what we have even more, because I can tell you that they had a large church with a lovely congregation. But I'm sorry, their congregation's got nothing on ours. And, of course, Reverend Greg Dorst gives everyone a run for their money. So, Unity of Pasadena is a vibrant spiritual community. This morning, we celebrate the activity of the divine in our lives. Wherever you are on your personal journey of faith, you are welcome here. So let's extend our unity blessing to each other. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you just the way you are. And now we have our statement of faith, in which we affirm that we are grounded in the truth of divine love. So let's state it together, please. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotence, and I am one with that presence and power. Praying with others is a core practice in our ministry. If you have a prayer request today, please complete a prayer request form that you can find either in the pew backs or beside the prayer box in the foyer. You can also make a request on our website. We will hold all requests in prayer and then forward them to Silent Unity, which is our 24-hour ministry at Unity Village in Missouri, where they will be held in prayer for 30 days. Please place your prayer requests in our prayer box or in the collection basket. Anita Sambadi is our prayer chaplain of the day and will be leading our meditation today. In preparation, Andrea Sheraton will share today's daily word.
Joy. I say yes to the joy that invites me in this very moment. Joy is a call of my heart. Whether I'm at work or at play, I bring a spirit of joyfulness to everything I do. More than a mood or an attitude, Joy is part of me, and joy is part of you. And it's ours to live and share. Like all aspects of my divine identity, joy flowers in my consciousness when I hold joyful thoughts and feelings. I express my joy as the excitement of anticipation, fascination at a new discovery, deep satisfaction in a relationship, and the tranquil glow from communing with our God in prayer. My joy is contagious, and I love to share it. I have feelings of joy when I take part in a friend or family member's joyous moments, their celebrations, and their accomplishments. I feel quiet joy when I offer encouragement and even when I give comfort. Grateful to share the care and love of God with all I meet and interact with. From 1 Thessalonians 5:16, rejoice always. Again, I say rejoice.
God is, I am right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am, right here, right now. God is, I am.
Good morning. I would like to, let me put the microphone on my face and I can speak. That would be a good idea. I'd like us to join together in the prayer of St. Francis to prepare for the meditation. God, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. I was looking for a meditation to do today. And you know, I'm not the best at meditation. I can speak, but not meditate. Anyhow, I found a passage from the Course in Miracles. I've been a student for a long time, and I wanted to share this with you. And let's just take 3 breaths, deep breaths all the way down to your belly button. And let it out. We'll go for number 2. And one more. And just think of the words I'm going to say. Beyond the body, beyond the sun and stars, past everything you see, and yet somehow familiar, is an arc of golden light that stretches as you look into a great and shining circle. And all the circle fills with light before your eyes. The edges of the circle disappear, and what is in it is no longer contained at all. The light expands and covers everything, extending to infinity, forever shining, and with no break or limit anywhere. Within it, everything is joined in perfect continuity, nor is it possible to imagine that anything could be outside, for there is nowhere the light is not. This is the vision of the Son of God, whom you know well. Here is the sight of him who knows his Father. Here is the memory of what you are, a part of this, all of it within and joined to all, as surely as all is joined in you. So for the next 2 minutes, visualize that arc of light, a big circle of golden light, flooding this church, filling everyone and all the world around us. And let's just become a part of it and let ourselves go and be in that light. And for 2 minutes, we'll just think of that thought. Time to come back now. And wherever you are in your day-to-day, just let yourself be filled with that golden light, because it spreads everywhere just like the air. And breathe it in. Thank you so much.
I'm through asking where I'm going. I've been asking all my life. I've grown tired of all this wondering when everything seems to turn out right. So when my mind needs something to do, wants to know the future, I whisper this: I'm okay. I've always been, and I'll always be that way. So here goes nothing. I'm taking a chance. I'm opening up, knowing that I'm in good hands. Here goes everything. It's all on the line, but I'm not afraid this time. Some say it's crazy, some say naive, to close my eyes and take the leap. But I know better, 'cause I believe even in the dark my soul can see. So when my mind plays its usual game, oh, my answer is always the same. Here goes nothing. I'm taking a chance. I'm opening up, knowing that I'm in good hands. Here goes everything. It's all on the line, but I'm not afraid this time. Here goes nothing. I'm taking a chance. I'm opening up, knowing that I'm in good hands. Here goes everything. It's all on the line, but I'm not afraid this time. No, I'm not afraid this time. No, I'm not afraid this time. 'Cause I'm okay. I've always been, and I'll always be that way. I'm okay. I've always been, and I'll always be that way.
Well, that song is fabulous. Are you foretelling what it is everybody's going to receive now? You see, should I give you the here goes nothing, gang? Here goes nothing. Well, you know, I think that when we let things unfold, you know, Spirit's way, things come from the heart. And so I'm willing to say, here goes nothing. You know, I'm not going to try and use some sort of forceful way to give you this message. I'm going to let the power of Spirit embed these magnificent truths in your own heart. How about that? So I love that. I absolutely love that. Daniel Nahmod is an amazing writer. Now, here's the conundrum I usually have when I'm sitting here, and I'm a congregant as much as you guys are when I'm sitting here and listening to the meditation and the opening and all of the things that are happening, enjoying it very, very much. I have this feeling that I need to clap for everything. Do you ever have that feeling? Yeah. So somebody's up here, you go, yeah, exactly. So let's just all clap right now and get it out of our system. Yeah. Woo! Yo! Ah, that feels good, doesn't it? It feels, you know, we just have this thing inside of us that say, I want to honor these people. You know, I want to honor the message. I want to honor the things that you're doing. And so we're saying that. We're saying that to all of you who've been up here. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, yeah, you know, we've been doing this thing, the will, which is the power, for the month of August. And I love it. You know, I got to take a look at the will, which is one of the things that Unity looks at as one of the 12 powers, and break it down into 5 different talks. So I kind of build up each Sunday to what's going to happen the next Sunday. So I love the will, and today's talk is going to be about following through, which is the 3rd talk around the will. Because we talked about the will being the power to choose, and that's a wonderful thing. We have the power to choose. We can make choices. We have to become willing to do the things that we choose. Otherwise, you know, we'll choose all day long and nothing will come of it. We have to be willing to do that, you know. And so that the willingness brings about a decision to do that thing. But, you know, even though we've made that decision, we can still fall down. We can still find ways to not do it. A lot of people make decisions and then never follow through on them. You know, it happens all the time. It's an unfortunate thing because really what it does is kind of let us deeply feel inside of ourselves that maybe we aren't as trustworthy as we'd like to be when it comes to following through on the decisions we've made for ourselves. I'll give you an example of that. You know, I'm not going to eat this thing. It might be New Year's Eve. I'm not going to eat this thing. It's very tasty, but it's bad for my health. It's very tasty, but I gain a lot of weight and I don't fit in my clothes. I'm not going to eat this thing. And pretty soon I think, well, you know what? It's been a couple of days since I've eaten that thing. You know, and I don't see anything wrong with just having that thing one time. And so I'm rationalizing in order to get myself back into that same old behavior, which is contrary to the decision that I made, which was based on a choice, initial willingness, and then the ability to move forward with the decision. But I didn't follow through on it. And sometimes I wonder to myself, why? Why didn't I follow through on it? I mean, what's wrong with me that I couldn't follow through on it? You know, saying what's wrong with you may be an interesting question for you, but maybe it's not a good thing to ask, because you'll come up with answers. And they're not good answers. And we don't want to hold those. We don't want to hold those in our hearts. In that which we are, we don't want to feel like we're unable to be trusted, that we, you know, are somehow less intelligent than we ought to be, or different from other people. I mean, I know other people who can do that, but I can't seem to do it. I mean, all kind of bad things happen when we ask that question. And so we don't really want to do that. Why can't I do this? But I'm going to ask it right now as an intellectual exercise because I have some answers, and then I have some solutions, which is a wonderful thing, isn't it? I mean, it's great to have some solutions to these issues so that we can really take a look at what's going on and say, oh, yeah, that operates in me like that. I get that. So Yeah, the will. What a power. I have a friend. This friend of mine is a magnificent human being. I've come to know him over the last year and a half, and I got to know him because he needed some help. He's one of the brightest persons I've ever met in my life. No, I should say smartest person. Well, he's bright and smart. How about that? I mean, I think those are two different things. This guy's amazing. I mean, this guy has some incredible skill in the way that he thinks and analyzes and practices law, because he's a lawyer. Only for about 3 years prior to my meeting him, he was unable to get out of bed. He was unable to get up in the morning and do the things that he was supposed to do. He was unable to take care of himself. He was unable to dress and get in the shower and then put on some fresh clothes and pay his bills. He was unable to pay the mortgage of his house. He was unable to do the things that we would say normal people do. 3.5 years is a long time for anybody to not be functioning. But a guy who's got all these smarts, who is incredibly bright, I mean, you'd never suspect it. You'd never expect it. And so he recognized that he needed a little bit of help. He got some help and some that's God calling. God calling. We learn a lot about people when we hear their ringtones, don't we? I mean, some of the old disco songs, I go, oh, whoop, whoop, stuck in the past. You know, it's kind of fun. Yeah, what's really stuck in the past is when you hear a regular telephone ring, right? Ring, like you remember the payphones, you'd walk by and it'd be ringing, and whoa, should I answer that? Sorry, I digress, I apologize. I'm talking about my friend, and my friend means a great deal to me, and his story is really amazing. So this friend knew that he needed help. He started reaching out for help. That's all he could do, really, in the moment. And he did that because people were bothering him about him needing help. So he reached out for help. And he started to get some information from people that was helpful. And this information had to do with relying upon what he felt he might be able to do in the moment. Progress. Make just a little bit of progress. I mean, he's looking for a change, right? I mean, he'd love to be able to get up and be that functional lawyer that he was for so many years, so many decades. But he's unable to make that change, so the watchword was progress. You know, he had to learn that progress might be the thing that he could do right now. Just make some progress. And so he relied on his will to be able to just get out of bed and start that process. You know, he was also asked to do some things like, you know, kind of plan on what the next bit of progress might be, and then envision that. Envision that and see if that is who you really are, truly at depth. Does that meet your standards right now? Getting up out of bed, taking a shower. Are those the standards you want to meet? Envision that. Envision it unfolding for yourself. And then he was asked by people, once they'd gotten to that step, to see if it wasn't possible for him to put on some clothes that were fresh, to make his bed, to maybe grab a bite to eat himself, rather than have somebody have to bring it to him and sort of force feed him. He made this progress. He made a little bit of progress with each and every vision. With each and every movement forward, his life started to look a little bit better. And then somebody talked to him about something that was near and dear to him. This man has lived a Jewish lifestyle his entire life, and in this lifestyle, there's a lot of ritual. Somebody mentioned to him, why don't you rely on that? The depth of who you really are, and start to create some rituals so that you can actually move forward to the next step and progress. Oh, he knows about rituals. He knows a lot about rituals. Not because he had to make some up for himself in that moment, but because that's the way he'd lived for his entire life. And he felt the sanctity of a ritual when he was in synagogue or when he was doing something during high holy days. He felt that. He absolutely loved it. When a candle needed to be lit, he felt something so interesting happen inside of him. And so he used this idea of ritual. What a wonderful idea that somebody gave him for ritual. So they said, why don't you shave? Can you develop a ritual around that? And he started to think and said, of course. I can tell you what my ritual used to be. And then maybe I can add some things to it, make it a little bit more exciting for the moment. But I used to make my own shaving oil. I used to combine different oils to place on my skin so that my skin would get nice and soft, and I'd shave with a straight razor. And it was a ritual. I'd look at myself in the mirror and I would tilt my chin up and I would shave so closely and so carefully with this beautiful smelling shaving oil that I'd made myself. I thought, when I heard this from his lips, I thought, wow, what an amazing tale of ritual, right? He said, then I started to learn how to feed myself by getting the things that I used to have right in front of me. I started to make Turkish coffee, which I absolutely loved, which just brought this smell to me, which said, it's breakfast time. It's breakfast time. Turkish coffee and a bagel. Breakfast time. Then he said, and you know what? If I had a chair to sit at my desk that I really, really enjoyed, that had a ritual attached to it, maybe I had to set the height, maybe I had to push it in, maybe I had to go get that chair that was being stored in the closet, and the ritual was my desk and set it down in exactly the right place and then sit down and prepare for work. Maybe I could actually do something. Wow. I mean, when he's telling me this, I'm going, this is so cool. I mean, he's making progress through the initial use of the will, getting himself to that place of making a decision, but actually being able to follow through with it by adding in ritual. So when I heard this story, I thought, this is really an outstanding aspect of the following through with your decision making that we need to talk about. Because you may have decided to do certain things and failed right after the decision-making process was complete, not been able to follow through. And maybe it was because you didn't build a ritual behind it. Maybe it was because you didn't have something that you did every day that brought the sacred to the moment. Something that you could do to prepare yourself for that amazing event, like, let's say, a spiritual practice. So I'm going to talk about that for a moment because this is a place of spirituality. This is a place where we talk about those kinds of things. This is a place where I have some experience, and this idea of ritual may be able to push you into that space where not only have you made the decision, but you can, and the commitment, but you can follow through on it. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be nice to have this robust spiritual practice that makes you feel magnificent, keeps you off of the television, watching that stuff, whatever it is, keeps you off of the phone and those electronic devices which really cloud you up? Wouldn't it be nice to have that spiritual practice in the morning or whenever you want to do it that would just make you feel like, life is good. Life is beautiful. I want to live it today. I mean, that is really a great place to be. So you've made the decision, you've made the commitment, it's time to do something that will allow you to follow through every day and make it part of who you are. So what do you think you might do? Well, you might find a nice quiet place, someplace you can go every day, and it might be that you have to set it up a little bit to do it because there might be some meditation involved. There might be the lighting of a candle involved. There might be a little bit of incense. It might be away from other people so you don't get the noise of the household noise, the people in the house. Got to be in a space where you can, sort of call sacred, and you set that space up and you set the tone. And maybe you get your journal beside you so that after your meditation, you might be able to journal your experience. Maybe you set it there with the pin. That's what you're going to do as part of this spiritual practice as well. You find this beautiful place, you set the lighting, you light the candle, you light the incense. You're seated on a pillow or in your chair, your feet are on the floor, whatever makes you feel good in this ritual. And you close your eyes for a moment. And you see how that feels. And while you have your eyes closed, you say to yourself or out loud the prayer of St. Francis. How does that make you feel to know that you are going to do that in the morning, Anita? I know you love that prayer because you chose it to use here on the platform. I mean, the people who come up here to do this spiritual practice or meditation in here with us all together can choose the prayer that they like. And I know you chose that prayer because you like it. Can you imagine that being part of your ritual every morning? You would never miss your ritual. Seated, incense, candle, lighting, prayer of St. Francis, slipping into that meditative moment. And don't worry if you think you're not good at it. Because if you think you're not good at it because your mind wanders, this is a great opportunity for you to be aware that your mind wanders and pull yourself back. Maybe focus on your breathing. Maybe focus on the incense. Maybe focus on the lighting. Maybe focus on the ritual itself. And so you're engaged in the meditation. You do a practice of prayer after that meditation. And the prayer may be just a prayer of thanks. It's all you need to say. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I love a ritual like that. That's a ritual I can get into. And if you like a little bit of soft music in the background, throw that in there too. I mean, all of a sudden you are ready to move into this space where your spiritual practice has not only begun, but it's robustly happening. You feel a change in your heart. You feel an easing in your mind. I mean, it's awesome stuff. It's really, really good. So now, guess what? You're looking forward to it tomorrow. You don't have to say, oh, man, I got other things to do. I know I made a commitment, but I'll skip the day. And I'll do it at 10 o'clock instead of at 9. Because actually the timing should be a ritual too. This is what I do this time. This is how I set up the room. This is how I set my heart. This is how I get my mind right. This is my spiritual practice, and it's a ritual that is sacred. Does that feel good? So it's not just spiritual practice. Now let's say you want to set up something that will bring to you some family time, something that will create for you a situation where your family actually gets together. You know, your kids maybe, your grandkids, maybe your brothers and sisters or aunts and uncles or whoever is nearby that can get together, say, for maybe even a ritual Sunday dinner. You know, maybe you're going to be the first one to reach out and say, hey, would you like to start setting up a Sunday dinner? You know, we can rotate this if everybody wants to. You know, we can come to my house first, and then next Sunday we can go to your house and go to the next house. Go to the next house, and all of a sudden people are getting on board. When you get people on board, it makes it easier to continue that decision every single Sunday to be there. That makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, because other people are involved, right? I mean, you might say, I don't really want to go, but it's at my house. You'll be there. Yeah, and you'll come to love that kind of a ritual that brings the family together. You can also have some amazing family time with a game night or something like that. Maybe that's the way you get the kids involved in this kind of ritual thing. Maybe you start to have fun as a family and you want to figure out new and different ways that you can actually meet together, you know, that are beyond just the Sunday dinner and the game night. Maybe you want to special way to celebrate birthdays, because we like to celebrate birthdays. And people get to honor one another when you're celebrating birthdays, right? You want to know a really good way to bring some family time together? You start to share family heirlooms. You meet and you share family heirlooms. Look what I have here. This goes to you. This goes to you. Look what I have here. Oh, this comes to me. This comes to you. This comes to you. What a way to start coming together. I mean, you want some family time? There's a way to do this. You want to get close together with the family? There's a way to do this. Very cool. Develop a ritual around it. And that's the follow-through tool we need. So let's see. Maybe I just don't like my job. And that starts right when I get up in the morning. It's hard to do it. Because I know that if I get up in the morning, it's the first step to getting to that doggone place, you know? And then an awful thing has to happen. I got to get in my car and get on the freeway, and there's traffic everywhere. It's an awful thing. It's awful. So getting up is awful. You know, getting myself together is awful. Getting on the freeway is awful. It's just awful stuff. And then I get to work, and I have a hard time getting my mind together and sitting down in front of the computer and doing the things that I know I have to do. And I feel bad because having to do something makes you feel that way, you know. You start to think of all the things you'd do if you could do what you wanted to do. And then you feel deprived, don't you, Norma? I mean, you feel deprived because you can't do the things that you want to do. And all of a sudden, your interpretation and perspective around life is really, really in the dumpster. You could change all of that with rituals around that sequence of events. You know, long ago, when I started driving long distances and spending a lot of time on freeways, I changed my ritual from being angry with traffic to starting out early, putting a book, audiobook, a book on CDs, or back then it might have been a book on tape, on that was interesting and fun that I loved, and listened to it. And I listened to it when I drove. And I didn't listen to it any other time except when I drove. And so it was really exciting because I was thinking, I get to go back to that book today. Whoo, great to sit behind the wheel, turn on the car and start that drive. And the longer it takes, the more I get to hear. You know? And I'm starting to feel okay with this, you know? Because I've set this ritual in motion. I mean, I could have made a decision just to enjoy my job, just to enjoy getting up, just enjoy getting in the car. But who could enjoy that? You know, driving on the freeway. Well, I learned I could. I heard some amazing things. And then people started to think that I was well-read. And I hated to tell them, well, it's just because I'm spending a lot of time on the freeway. But I got through a lot of books. I mean, what an interesting ritual to be able to transform every little aspect of that thing that you hate and find yourself sitting behind the computer having had the best day ever to that point. Now you need a ritual to get through that, right? I mean, if you're going to make a decision to be where you're supposed to be and do what you're supposed to do and do it well, then you're going to have to be at peak performance. And so you could develop a ritual around that peak performance. You know, my friend has a ritual of breaking every hour to this one that couldn't get out of bed for the longest period of time, who had to develop rituals around. He has a ritual breaking every hour. He doesn't have to break very long, but he has this thing that he just absolutely really, really wants to do. And it might be a beverage, or it might be the taste of something really, really nice, or it might be a moment just to walk around the block. And he breaks every hour, and he does that thing. And he looks so forward to doing it. When he's done with that, he realizes all he has to do is another hour. That's all he has to do. I mean, anybody could do an hour, right? It's 10 hours that you get in your mind you have to do. It becomes very, very hard. Oh, I got to work for 10 hours today. Oh, no. You just have to do it 1 hour at a time. Have you ever heard people say 1 day at a time? Yeah, of course. That saying's been around a long, long time. You know why they say because if you look at it at one lifetime at a time, it looks pretty daunting. It's like, there's no way I could do that. It's impossible to do that. Oh, but I could do it today. You know, I could not drink today, or I could not use this substance today, or I could stay away from sugar just today. Some people even say, you know, tomorrow I'll have that, and tomorrow never comes. We know that, right? I mean, intellectual exercise. So this thing of ritual is so cool. You know, what's behind some of this ritual stuff, what really drives you forward into that arena, is that you really, really, really want to operate according to standards. Because if you do not have the appropriate standards, you will meet those inappropriate results. Your appropriate standards are important. Here's a standard for you. I should do that. My standard is that I should do that. Yeah, that's I'm going to rely on that. I should go to the gym. There's a better standard. That standard that I really want to utilize is I must go to the gym, or I must do this thing. I must be that person. My standard is that I do it, not that I pretend to do it. Not something I should do or something I'm going to try to do. I do it. I mean, the standard of must is far better than the standard of should if you really want to get it done, isn't it? So set that standard. You will meet it if that is who you are. You will meet that standard. So the standard of must may be the standard that you can use or could use or should use, must use behind this ritual, which will allow you to follow through with the things you really want to do. You know, we talked about, I use the gym experience a lot, you know, and the commitment issue that I talked about last week, you know, we should make a commitment, we must make a commitment to do this gym thing. And one of the ways you can make sure you do it is to do it with somebody else. You do it with a trainer. You know, you do it on particular days. And you're more likely to do it when you engage with somebody else. But you could also make it a ritual. You know, you could make a ritual around that, you know, every day you go to the gym, you go and eat after you go to the gym. And you should feed your muscles. You really should. I mean, I made that commitment to myself that I was going to go to the gym, and I decided that it was best to feed my muscles with a high-protein diet, and I bought these. Do you know what I eat with these? Guess. Sushi! Was that you, Arthur? Yeah. Well, not only can you eat sushi with these things, but you can eat a lot of different things with these things. It allows for some mindful eating. You know, I mean, especially if you're not very good at it, you might not get as much as you'd like to in your mouth. You know, maybe you eat a little bit less, takes a little bit longer. But I would go to the gym and I'd say, it's time for that protein. It's time for that protein boost. And I always carried these with me, and they always drove me through the day because I love sushi. Do you see how the ritual supersized that? The ritual of using these at the sushi restaurant after I worked out actually made sure that I worked out well. I even worked out better because I was going to go to the sushi restaurant afterwards, because I wanted to do as much work to my muscles so they would need as much protein as possible in order to be fed. Really. If you can figure out where your standards are, where your mind is around these things, what the real reasons for you to be doing things are, and that's important too. You know, what are the reasons for you to do this? Then you're going to be much better off. It's much more likely to happen. So rituals, what a fun thing. I mean, you know what? I even pulled some quotes around rituals. You know how I like to find quotes around stuff. And I found some quotes around rituals. The first person, I don't know. I don't know this person. Ritual is the act of satisfying action, even ordinary action, so that it has meaning. I can light a candle because I need the light or because the candle represents the light I need. Ooh, talk about perspective, huh? Talk about ritualizing just the lighting of the candle. Oh, I need the light. You could turn on the bulb then. No, 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 no. It's the candle light that I need. It's the light from the candle that I need. I love that distinction. I love that feeling. It becomes sacred in that very moment that you understand the distinction. And this is one I know this person. I mean, not personally. I mean, John Lennon. I mean, who doesn't know the name? Rituals are important, he says. That's it. Rituals are important. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. I've been saying that for, 25 minutes now. Rituals are important. Thank you, John. I'm going to steal that one. So, you want to follow through? Create a ritual around it. And then you'll be supersizing your will, which is your decision-making process, your power to choose, that which your willingness comes from, that which the decision comes from and through, the commitment made that you must adhere to, is adhered to through the ritual that you set forth that gives joy to your life, because that's what it'll do. The sacred always brings joy. That's why spiritual practice is so cool. That spiritual practice will bring joy to your life. It is well worth the time. It'll change the way that you look at the world and at yourself. So here's what I do in order to just solidify this whole idea that this God stuff is within me as well as within you. The God in me recognizes the God in you. Namaste. I see it, I feel it, I am you as a result of that truth. And so it is.
You see, I told you. That's right. And thank you for putting an extra pep in our step and reminding us that we can break things down into bite-sized chunks, right? Wonderful. Now we come to the time in our service of community giving. As you prepare your love offering or tithe, let's remember the source of our abundance and affirm together, God is the source of my overflowing supply, and I am grateful. And now, Levi and Felice have another gift of music for us.
Create those rituals, right? You can sing along. You probably know this. If it's to be, if it's to be, oh, if it's to be, it's up to me. Let's do that again. Ready? If it's to be, if it's to be, oh, if it's to be, it's up to me. If I seek the truth, let me speak the truth. If I'm lost in doubt, let me believe. I know I can be the change I want to see. If it's to be, if to be, oh, if it's to be, it's up to me. If I'm feeling stressed, let me stop and rest. If I'm feeling hurt, let me forgive. I know I can be the change I want to see. If it's to be, if it's to be, oh, if it's to be, it's up to me. If I dream of peace, let me live in peace. When I start from love, I am love. I know I can be the change I want to see. If it's to be, if it's to be, whoa, if it's to be, it's up to me. One more time. If it's to be, if it's to be, whoa, if it's to be, it's up to me. Thank you.
Yes, talk about pep in our step. Okay, Charmaine, will you please bring the basket forward? Now, let's raise our hands in blessing of these love offerings, both the givers and receivers. We commit to following through with our core values, mission, and vision. We affirm that God's divine plan for unity of Pasadena is manifesting now for all we are and all we will be. We say, thank you, God. And thank you, Charmaine. Community updates and announcements. Please stay for hospitality hour today and visit with one another. There are treats and coffee, and we invite anyone to bring anything to share for future as well. Tomorrow evening is the monthly Connections Conversations with all interested members and friends. Please see the website calendar for the Zoom call information. Now let's say the prayer for protection together, please. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine, and all is well. And now we invite you to join in on the peace song if you feel comfortable.